Mr. Will's Music World. Hello and welcome to another episode of, I was waiting for you to say it, Mr. Will's Music World. I'm excited about this episode. I think it's a really neat one, but truthfully, I'm excited about every episode here in Mr. Will's Music World. We are going to be talking about Plena drums and Plena music. Plena music is from Puerto Rico, a small island in the Caribbean. Now, there are different instruments that are played in the style of Plena music. For instance, I'm holding one of 3 drums that's played in a Plena ensemble. Now, when I use the word ensemble, all that means is a group of instruments that play together, or musicians, a group of instruments and or musicians that are played together. So, Plena music is usually an ensemble of 3 different sizes of drums, a gourd, which is played, a guido basically, which we call a guicharo in Plena music, and then you will have people singing. So you'll have the Plena drums and the guicharo and the singing. So this drum is actually the largest of 3 within the ensemble, and it's often referred to as the Segidor. Now, each one of these instruments played in the Plena ensemble has their own rhythms that they play. The rhythm that the Segidor often plays sounds like this, or faster. Now, there are different ways to play the Segidor. We can play it like I just did with my hands, like I would on a conga or a djembe drum. Or we can play it with our thumb, playing a low note, open note, and a closed note. Now, notice I'm holding it up. Sometimes players will hold it down lower and play with their other hand as well. So I'm holding it up, which a lot of players in Plena music play like this. And now I can use this other hand and play like this. So I have the other hand as well. The Segidor. Now, also these drums are made of, most often, skin, real hide, raw hide or skin of an animal played on the surface of the drum. Now, you may have noticed that although this drum is very large, if I turn it to the side, it's not very thick, right? And often these drums are referred to as frame drums, meaning that their diameter, the playing surface of the drum, is larger than it is thick, or the actual frame that the head goes around is thinner and smaller than the actual playing surface. So it's a frame drum, like a frame on a wall, basically. Frame drum. Now, it's made of different types of woods, usually regional woods, which means the area where that thing, person comes from, that region. Usually they're regions of, or the wood, the trees that the wood is made from are from the region, different regions of Puerto Rico. Now this particular drum is made of a few different kinds of wood. That's why you see the different colors. It's beautiful, isn't it? So you have the wood, you have the playing surface. It's often referred to as a frame drum. And they're also called panderos or panderetas, hand drums. Panderos of the Plena. And this is the largest one, referred to often as the Segidor. Let's take a look at another one, another Plena drum of the ensemble. Now this is the Puntiador, the second largest drum in the ensemble of 3 drums played in Plena music. Remember, they're referred to also as panderos or panderetas, hand drums, but each one of them has their own names. The Puntiador, which is this drum is often referred to, also has its own rhythm that it plays in the ensemble. Now, in different parts of the island of Puerto Rico, and in different places in the world where the tradition has evolved, there are different ways of playing the rhythms on the Puntiador. Here's one way that we play the rhythm on the Puntiador. or often nowadays contemporary, meaning modern or a newer way of playing, faster. And this rhythm lives within inside of the rhythm of the Segidor, meaning they play together. Let's take a look at another drum played in the ensemble of Plena music. This drum is the smallest of the three and often referred to as the re quinto. Re quinto. This drum improvises. It plays rhythms that are made up on the spot. So we often refer to a person that will play a rhythm that is improvising like such as the soloist. So they play solo rhythms, but they're listening to the singers and the other musicians and being inspired by them in what to play. Now there are traditional, meaning rhythms that are played, popular rhythms that were played before on the solo drum, but what happens is the players will often go in and out of that rhythm. So they'll play that traditional rhythm and then they will improvise, meaning make up some new rhythms to go along with that. Now there are different ways to hit the drum and play the drum. We use open tones, meaning we allow the drum to sing out and resonate throughout the room or outside, wherever you are. Then we have closed or muted tones where my hands don't bounce off. Press into the drum. Then we have closed slaps, like slap tones, where it's a very sharp sound. Then we have playing out towards the tip, sometimes referred to as the bell. There's a lot of different sounds that you can get from this re quinto, and honestly from all of the banderos or plena drums. So these are the three drums that are played in the ensemble. There's also an instrument called the guicharo, which is a guiro, a gourd, made from a gourd. So this is a vegetable, basically, an instrument grown from the ground. And that instrument has little slices in it, lines from the top to the bottom, and then played with an instrument that almost looks like a little fork. Plena music comes from Puerto Rico. Plena music has a rich history and tradition. It's often referred to as the newspaper of the day or the newspaper. To hear more about this, let's hear from Professor Will. Hello there. I hear that you're watching an exciting episode about Plena music. From Puerto Rico, from the islands in the Caribbean. Now I too have family from the islands. And I hear that Mr. Will has family from the island of Puerto Rico, which makes this quite a special episode indeed. Now I was just reading and studying a little bit about Plena music, and quite a fascinating and interesting form of music with a rich history and tradition. Plena music, which originates in the island of Puerto Rico, also has its origins from around the 1880s to the early 1900s, so the turn of the 20th century. Now at this time, not long before, slaves from Africa, people that were enslaved on the islands, were emancipated, meaning they now had their freedom, moved to different islands. So now you have performers of different styles of music moving to different islands. And many scholars debate and discuss, debate meaning coming together, discussing views that are different from each other. Many scholars come together and believe and debate different things. Some believe that the beginnings of Plena music comes from pioneers, people that were doing this early on. They believe that they came from different islands as well as the island of Puerto Rico, and they were combining their traditions, their musical traditions. Now the term Plena, many scholars believe, may come from when the performers were playing. They were often playing in the evening underneath the moon, the moonlight, la luna, or often a full moon. Plena, which also means full. So some believe it comes from there. Some believe that there were early performers, one of which was a duo. They were a duo of a husband and wife, and the wife's name was Anna. And the husband would play his guitar while she played her drums and sang, and he would say, "Play, Anna. Now play on now. Play on now." The people of Puerto Rico would hear this "play on now," and with their accent say "plena," and so perhaps it became Plena. And this is one way, another way of perhaps where the origins of Plena come from. Some believe different things. Some believe that there were early performers that when they would play, they would exclaim or shout, "Plena!" And so perhaps it came from there as well. Now, Plena music is often referred to as the music of the day or the newspaper. So, Plena music was used to inform people within their location, or sometimes we say locale. Within their locale, people would sing these songs of what was happening during that time. Now, so Plena music was used to inform people, used to entertain people, and it is often, even up to today, used to make protests. Now, protest is when people come together and express their displeasure of something that they disagree with or don't believe in. So they come together and they protest it. And Plena music is often used in these protests. The drums are portable. They're able to be picked up and played as they walk through the streets and sing. So Plena music from the beginning all the way up to today is often used in protests. So quite a fascinating structure and style and tradition of music. Plena music. Plena music is also an integral part of the holiday season. The parranda, or a holiday party, is often when people play music like Plena and travel from house to house, often the party growing larger as they move on. So I'm going to let you get back to Mr. Will's exciting episode about Plena while I continue to read a little bit more about this beautiful and rich tradition of music. Now, we're going to have a special guest on the show to help us see or hear what the largest drum and the second largest, remember that's the Segidor and the Puntiador, what they sound like together. Let's see what the Segidor and the Puntiador sound like together. Now remember, these are two of three drums that play in the ensemble, including the guicharo, which is the guiro that you scrape. Right? We're not going to play that fast though. But these are the Segidor and the Puntiador. So we're going to play these two together. And we have William here who's going to assist us to see what they sound like as they're played together. This is just one of a few different ways, and there were traditional ways to play it, different parts of the island where they play and have their own styles. So we're just going to kind of show an idea of what they sound like together. So William is going to play on the Puntiador, and I'm playing on the Segidor. Le-lo, lai, ay, le-lo, le-lo. Thank you very much, William, for playing the Puntiador for us and showing us how they sound together. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you learned something cool today and enjoyed spending some time with us. Until next time, we'll see you soon. And play us out. Ready? Go. Boom, ba. Hey. That sounds good.